to go in this adventure. I left Petersburg this morning at about 11 o'clock. It's now about 3. I hope you can see from the lighting that it's a beautiful day. If Alaska had more days like this, it would be paradise, and all the Californians would move up here and ruin the joint. We're going south on Wrangell Narrows, sometimes called Christmas Tree Alley, because there are 63 navigation lights. You can see a whole bunch of them there, stretching off into the distance. We entered the Narrows on a flood tide behind us, and we're proceeding slowly while we fish until we pick up the tide going in the opposite direction. Greg and Sharon left me in Petersburg. I met up with Tom Peterson and Dick, both of who are back there. Whoops, there's Dick. Sitting there. I guess Tom's below. You notice there's a new addition to Dancer. There's a crab pot laying on the cabin top. We went to a all-you-can-eat crab feed in Petersburg that the Moose Foundation put on, a charity fundraiser, and I could tell that Tom liked Tom liked crabs so much that we really ought to get a crab pot and try and catch them. So we're going to do that as we proceed from Petersburg. We're going to stay in a natural harbor tonight, go to Wrangell tomorrow night, then go to the Annan Bear Preserve, and then on to another harbor, and then finally catch a can Thursday evening, haul the boat on Friday, fly back home on Saturday, thus ending the 1992 Dancer North expedition. If anything more beautiful or interesting comes along today, I'll turn on the video. It'll be nice to get home, but on days like this, you really have to savor it. The breeze that I'm feeling now feels like 70 degrees with the wind chill built in, so it must be about 80 degrees without the air. Just a gorgeous day. Well, this morning's July 20th. We're down at the south end of Wrangell Narrows, and what you see is the result of our first attempt, or 75% of our first attempt at trapping crabs. I bought a crab pot in Petersburg, and we put it down last night with a flounder fish head in it and a little bullhead, and we pulled it up this morning with 4 crabs in it. One was under legal size. They were all males. So we're going to cook them up right now before they get stressed, and try and make a crab omelet and maybe have crab salad for lunch. What do you think of this experience, Richard?
Oh, I think this is fantastic. We got crab to boot. I've never had 3 crab all at one time.
Dick Taylor goes on vacation, comes back with crabs.
Yes.
What do you think of this experience, Tom? Of course, you can't say it's terrible.
Right. Thinking about staying here.
Okay, well, here we have the results of the Monday morning clam bake. We just had a crab omelet, and Tom and Dick are preparing the rest of it for crab salad today. Notice the skillful maneuvering of their hands. These are people who have done this their whole lives. They're highly trained technicians.
Not necessarily for pay.
Your hands are on candid camera, Dick, so make it look good here. Dick's procedure is you take out the crab, you eat half of it, and put the other half in the bowl.
Hey, if I had my way, I'd do that. But see, you were smart enough to have me not hungry at this point.
That's right, we fed you sweet rolls so we'd get crab left for lunch.
Yeah.
Let's see, anything interesting in the anchorage here. A few minutes ago, Dick asked which direction was south, and Tom pointed towards the bow, and I pointed towards the stern. So we've got to figure out which way is up so we can get out of here. We're just anchored in a little bight along just the southern tip of Wrangell Narrows. There's a little cabin over there on the shore. Last night there was quite a few boats in here, but they had all cleared out by the time we got out. They were picking up the current, taking them up the Narrows. It's kind of a high overcast day this morning. We'll probably dinghy into shore and try try and catch a grizzly bear for dinner, and then head out for Wrangell. Today's July 21st, and we just arrived at Annan Bay, which is a noted bear observatory, and we're walking up the Forest Service Trail. We just came to this little riffle, and you can see all the salmon schooling in the water, making their way upstream. You figure if the salmon are here, and there's a bunch of eagles eating the salmon, the bear ought to be here too. Standing here up on the porch of the bear observatory, just above a little cataract. All sorts of eagles flying by. About every 15 seconds you see an eagle. Some try to steal the view. Oh yeah. Bear! Hello, bear. He's about 30 feet away from me. Looking down at the water there. Fly bear. Where is he? There he is. This guy is about 80 feet away from me. Oh, he's got a fish, just like on TV. Fantastic. Just like on TV. They seem to just sort of walk down here and get a bite to eat, literally. Just for mature audiences only. Another bear. We're back to this guy. He's really eating dinner. Anybody think that's food? Here's another one. Up here in the Forest Service who's keeping a bear count. He just told us that the trail that leads out of the bear observatory is closed because actually the photographer was up there charged by a grizzly. The photographer shot the killed the grizzly and left the body, and now they're very late. Grizzly meat. I want more meat. So this dog can't get any further up. Are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm done.
How long do you stay on this out or this place?
I'll be here till late August.
When to run the whole time? You won't
No, I'm not
leave.
here here for 4 days.
And then you're back where?
Going to Wrangell.
And then how long are you in Wrangell?
I get 10 days off.
No, well, you can get one in 4 days out. You can get one. You're working 14 hours a day?
I'm working on it.
Did you get it? No? We're sitting here looking at all... I thought they used their paw.
Yeah, it's gonna be frustrating.
Kind of hungry. Thank you. I'm just thinking this is one more thing that'll disappear as an attractive nuisance. It's not. There's some eagles down in a rock there. Voices you just heard in the background was a fellow from the forest shooting the bear now. So I hang around here for a little while longer and get back to them. All part of the lasting experience which I will spoil 2 more days. Today I had a beautiful passage down from Wrangell to Swan Bay. We went down Eastern Passage and then Lake Passage, sailing about the last half of the way, way downwind. Really, really nice. Flat water, sunshine, mountains on both sides. Wish I had a musical soundtrack for this, but really can't do it. The hum. I don't know any people music. Good-sized fish. this is about an hour and a half after the Bear Observatory, and Dick Taylor has hooked, using just 10-pound line and a buzz bomb, has hooked on to about a 15 to 25-pound halibut. And he's been playing them, trying not to bust the line for about 15 minutes now. Tom's sat there with a gaff, and we're hoping to get this thing on board.
Ready to kill him. Now, do we have any good fight music?
Well, here's Dick
Catching a fish.
catching
A big fish.
fish. This sucker weighed in at, how much was it, Dick?
19 pounds.
19 pounds. He caught it
It's 38 inches long on 10-pound test.
10-pound test and a lightweight spinning reel, and it took over a half an hour. Tom gaffed it, and I photographed it. Now we're all going to eat it, except me, because I want spaghetti, but I'll eat it anyhow. Today is July 22nd. We're leaving Annan Bay, the bear preserve. Last evening, we had a true Alaskan experience. After looking at the bears, we got back to Dancer at around 8 o'clock, and Dick Taylor started fishing over the side with my light rate spinning rod and a buzz bomb. Tom and I had caught some fish on it a couple of days ago when Dick hadn't, so we really wanted to catch some little bottom fish. Well, he did not catch a bottom fish, or anyways, not a little one. He hooked into a 19-pound halibut, which, with a little coaching and a light finger on the clutch of the fishing rod, took about a half an hour to 45 minutes to land. Tom gaffed it through the head. We killed it with a big ball peen hammer, and then cut some of the biggest fillets off it that have ever been on board Dancer. Well, everything was going great, but when we came into Annan Bay, there was a state mooring buoy. And when we came into the buoy, there was a couple of guys in an inflatable tied onto it, and we came up and tied onto it also, which evidently got them a little angry because they were fishing, but we didn't know it got them angry. Later in the evening, after we had filleted the halibut, it was rather dark, and the two guys and a third person came rowing out to Dancer. There was some exchange of words, Dick telling them about what a big fish he had caught, and the other guys making some kind of remarks. I kind of disappeared into the darkness ahead of Dancer, and just a few minutes later, Dick noticed that Dancer was drifting out into the bay's waters, and we quickly realized that the guys on the inflatable had cut our mooring line. I shouted into the darkness, "That wasn't a very smart thing to do." I mean, the consequences were, if we hadn't noticed it, that we would have eventually possibly ended up on some rocks. Their reply was, "Go back to California." They were some guys from Washington, and I think might have been drunk or taking some kind of drugs. In any event, here was this act of vandalism. We tied back up to the mooring buoy and didn't know quite how to proceed. So I called the Coast Guard and apprised them of the situation. I thought they might come back and try it or cut up the Avon. So we ate our dinner with most of the lights off, so they couldn't see too obviously where we were. And I was planning on hanging on the mooring buoy for the rest of the evening, when at about 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, a shot rang out. And I thought, uh-oh, time to leave. So again, we told the Coast Guard what was going on, and we upped anchor. We disconnected in the dark, and as we started to motor away, 4 or 5 shots rang out. We didn't hear any bullets go by us or land in the water, so I think these guys were just laughing and shooting the gun off. They had scared us away from the mooring buoy. So we got the anchor down after a couple of tries and got to bed at about 1 o'clock. Spent kind of a restless evening. Coast Guard's advice for us was to proceed with caution and leave the area, but I didn't want to leave in the pitch black, as there wasn't any anchoring harbor nearby, and the Loran wasn't picking up a signal because we're too close to Ketchikan for that. Anyhow, getting shot at, catching a halibut are two of the things you go to Alaska for, and seeing bears is another. So we saw bears, caught halibut, and got shot at all in one night. This morning we pulled up our crab trap to see what was in it. We had put about 10 pounds of old halibut in it, but all was in it was some humongous starfishes, about 15 or 18 inches across, so we let those go. My patch that I put on the front of the Avon is leaking now, so we've got the boat deflated on the front deck, and we're proceeding to either Vixen Inlet or Vixen Harbor, where we'll spend the night, and tomorrow it's off to Ketchikan. Well, today's July 22nd. It's the second last night of the trip, and we're in the last natural harbor of the trip. This is Vixen Harbor. It's a real pretty little place. It had a tiny opening between two shoals. I thought I'd just make some remarks so I'd remember what this trip was like, and it's kind of hard to say anything really descriptive that's very specific. The whole thing seems like kind of a dream. Some of the specifics come to mind, like being anchored off of Ranger Passage and going up by the glaciers and seeing the whales. Nothing really bad has happened on the trip. A lot of nice things. The only negatives, I suppose, were the weather sometimes. For almost 4 days now, we've had beautiful weather with no rain, knock on wood. Some people have asked me, would I do it again? I really don't know the answer to that. It's been a long time, and looking back on it, it'd certainly be a lot of fun. And I'm sure the last 10 miles going into Ketchikan, I'll throttle down the engine until we're going about 2 knots to draw out every last drop of the whole thing. But it's something I felt that I wanted to do once, and I did it. Of course, I have to come back next summer and do it a little more to get to answer home. The boat is in just about the same condition as when we left California. Haven't had any serious problems. Somebody might wonder if I'd recommend it to them. Well, I wouldn't recommend it, and I wouldn't not recommend it. I think everybody just has to read up on it and judge it for himself. If you ask me, was it spectacular? Well, I wouldn't give you my opinion. You just got to go and find out for yourself. So, see you all next year.